Hello everyone, firstly welcome to my first ever yoga video. So let's see how this goes. I look forward to just kind of sharing what I would share if I was teaching a class, just giving the opportunity to have a little bit of a home practice that can be led but still having opportunity to practice with your own breath in your own time. So hopefully you can follow my guidance, but just kind of do what feels good for your body and move with your own breath. The practice today is hopefully sort of made for everyone, so there'll be lots of different options. It'll be nice and gentle. You can do it in the morning, in the evening, and I just wanted to create a practice that really kind of finds a bit of space in the body and gives you the opportunity to connect and move with your breath as well. So to begin, I invite you to just come and find any comfortable seat. So I'm sitting cross-legged. If it feels more comfortable, you can have the legs extended out long, or even have the legs bent, or sit up on the knees. But ideally we're looking for a way to find a sense of length through the spine. So it might be helpful to sit up on a pillow or a block or a couple of blocks or props, just to help find that length in the spine. And just taking a little bit of a time to have a shuffle, to find where feels comfortable. And then I invite you to begin to close the eyes or soften your gaze. Beginning to bring awareness to just notice the contact points of the body on whatever it is resting on, whether you can notice the body as it rests on the mat or a support. Noticing whereabouts on the feet or the legs or your seat that are making that contact. And then bringing awareness to the other parts of your body, maybe your hands resting on your lap or the floor or your knees. And just seeing for a few opening moments if we can just feel into that contact, notice the sensations, the gentle grounding pressure of the body as it sits and rests on whatever it is resting on. As we notice the sense of the lower body and the contact of the lower body, I then invite you to bring your awareness to the spine and the shoulders. Just see if we can find a sense of length through the spine, but still keeping everything feeling really relaxed. Inviting an openness to the chest, and if it feels nice, you might even take a breath in and draw the shoulders up towards the ears. And then as you breathe out, releasing the shoulders down. Maybe doing that one more time if that feels good, kind of inviting a little bit of tension in and then releasing it out as you breathe out. And then bringing awareness into the features of the face and just seeing if we can, first of all, notice if you're holding any expression or any tension or tightness. And then bringing a sense of softness and ease into the temples, into the eyes, cheeks, the nose, the mouth, the jaw. Just letting any holding fade away. then from here, coming to bring awareness down towards the chest and the belly. Seeing if we can find a sense of relaxedness here. And then beginning to bring your awareness to come and rest with your breath at these places in the body. And if you find it helpful, you might bring one hand to the chest and one hand to the belly. And without changing the breath in any way at all, just begin to notice the way that our natural breath just moves the body. Can you feel a sense of rise or expansion as air comes into the body, into the lungs? A sense of releasing back, drawing back in as air leaves the body. Maybe noticing if you can feel more movement in the chest or the belly. Just kind of checking in with where you're naturally breathing or what your natural breath feels like in this moment. And then next time you breathe in, I invite you to find a little bit more length in your breathing. So as you next breathe in, inviting a smooth breath down towards the abdomen, down towards the belly. And then as you breathe out, slowly releasing the breath through the nose or the mouth, whatever feels most comfortable. And we'll just take a few cycles of breath like this. Noticing that as you breathe in this way, if you can feel more of a sense of movement in the body, in the abdomen, in the chest. And then next time you breathe out, releasing the hands from the chest and the belly if they are resting there. And then we're all going to bring the hands to come into a prayer position, coming to rest at our heart center. And as we come into this shape, seeing if we can stay relaxed through the shoulders, keep that sense of grounding through the lower body and that lovely sense of lightness and lift through the upper body. And then taking a breath in, that nice smooth, slightly longer breath, we're going to begin to bring the arms up overhead. And then as we breathe out, releasing and circling the arms down. Hands can come to meet the mat if they come that far, or just coming wherever feels comfortable. And then taking a breath in, we're going to come the opposite way, beginning to glide the arms back up. And then breathing out, releasing the hands back down towards heart center. And let's just do that 2 more times, just moving with your own breath. As you breathe out, releasing and circling the arms down. As you breathe in, drawing air into the body as the arms come back up, finding a nice stretch and sinking back down. Moving through one more time, maybe just noticing how it feels in the shoulders, in the spine. As we just gently wake up the body. And the next time the hands come into heart center, pausing here. And then taking another breath in, extending the arms up. This time we're going to come to a gentle twist towards the right side. So just beginning to twist from your center, open through the chest. The arms can either come to the side or down to the floor. And then sweeping the arms back up as you breathe in. And then coming to release over towards the other side. And then just coming back through that movement, feel that sense of expanding out as you breathe in. And then maybe seeing if you can draw the belly in a little bit as you come into the twist. Coming one more time on the other side of the body, and then next time that the arms come up overhead, you can once again sink them back down towards the chest, towards the heart center. And then taking a breath in, extending the arms out. As we breathe out, beginning to gently release and lean over towards the right side. Inhale draws us back towards our central point. Exhale, coming to release over towards the other side. And exploring this one time or one more time on each side of the body, just feeling into what it feels like to open through the side body. And as we come back towards heart center or come back towards the center, then bringing the hands back and then releasing the arms, releasing the shoulders, maybe having a little bit of a shake. If the legs are crossed, you might want to give the legs and the feet a bit of a shake. Then just rotating a few times through the wrists before we come onto all fours, if that feels good. And then we can all make our way together to come towards all fours, moving out anything that's in the way. And then when we come there, I invite you to bring your hands kind of roughly underneath the shoulders and knees roughly underneath the hips. But if it feels nicer to have a bit more room, you can bring the hands a bit wider or a bit narrower, so it really is a kind of rough guide. And then just checking in with the position of the head and the neck and the spine. You might feel that you feel a bit hunched in the upper back, so then just relaxing through that area. And if we bring our gaze down towards the mat, we can bring a nice sense of length through the back of the neck and support our neutral spine. And then when you feel ready, beginning to take a breath in, and we're going to start to sort of open through the chest, lift through the tailbone as we find a sense of opening through the front of the body. And then as we breathe out, drawing the belly in, rounding through the spine, drawing the shoulders up towards the ears and releasing the head and the neck. And then just exploring moving between or creating a connection between these two movements of the spine. And if it feels more comfortable to breathe in or out on kind of the different movement that I'm teaching, just do what feels good for you or what feels natural to your body. And if it feels good, I invite you to find that smooth and supportive, maybe even slightly longer breath. And the next time that you go to round through the back, I invite you to begin to sink the hips back down towards the feet. And then taking a breath in, leading with the chest, beginning to rise back up, open heart. And then as you breathe out, sinking back, releasing back into our child's pose. And then beginning to find this relationship, this connection between these two movements, really allowing the breath to support. Maybe noticing how it feels in the spine, in the hips, in the shoulders to just move in this way. And then next time that you find yourself sinking back down into our child's pose, taking a moment of pause here. And if it feels nice, you might bring the arms a bit wider. You might stay up on the forearms or bring the knees a bit wider. Even maybe make a little pillow for the head. We're just finding somewhere that feels restful, like a nice place to pause. Taking a breath in, beginning to lead back with the chest, coming back up to all fours. And then this time when we breathe out, we're going to tuck the toes under, really ground into the whole of the palms of the hand, and start to bring the hips back and up into our first downward facing dog. We can have nice bent knees, releasing the head and the neck, really finding a sense of strengthening through the arms and the shoulders. And then taking a breath in, seeing if we can lower down with control, relax the feet. And then come to release once again, all the way down to our child's pose. Then moving through these movements now, in-breath brings us up, and as we breathe out, tucking the toes under, drawing the weight back into the back of your body. So really finding that we're not kind of too far forward, but we're drawing the weight back. And taking a breath in, lowering down. Breathing out, sinking down into our child's pose. We'll come through this one more time, finding that support. And this time when we come up to downward facing dog, taking a few more moments here. Seeing if we can bring awareness to the shoulders and draw them away from the ears. Releasing the head and the neck, and keeping the legs can bend as much as you need to find that real sense of length in the spine. If it feels nice to pad the feet out a little bit, that can be quite a nice way to ease through the backs of the legs and the hips. And then from here we can begin to bring the hands back towards the feet, or the feet towards the hands, whatever feels natural. We'll bring ourselves to kind of dangling position. Again, the legs can be nice and bent. Check that there's no tension in the shoulders, in the neck. And then taking a breath in, I invite you to bring the arms out towards the side and lead with the chest, starting to grow and come all the way up. Maybe finding a nice full body stretch when you arrive, and then releasing the arms down. Having a little bit of a shake, or whatever moves feel nice to make. A bit of a smile, and then maybe even a bit of a sigh. It can be quite nice to just kind of sigh it out, or relax and release the breath a little bit as well. Okay. And then as we come to standing, we're going to come or start to build our mountain pose, our kind of foundations for all of our standing postures. So to first of all come into this posture, it can actually be quite nice to close the eyes or soften the gaze, finding a soft place to focus the eyes. And then just starting to see if you can notice where your body is leaning, where the weight of your body feels most obvious. Do you feel like you're leaning more towards the right or the left? Maybe more towards the front of the body or towards the heels of the feet? And from this awareness of where you are most naturally leaning, can we begin to bring a sense of groundedness, of evenness through both of the feet, so that we feel a sense of grounding down through both the heel of the foot and the ball of the foot, through the insides and the outsides of the feet. You might even lift up the toes just to exaggerate those points of contact. And then settling the toes down when you feel ready. Feeling that sense of grounding down evenly, and then seeing if we can bring awareness to the center of the foot, around the place of where your arches are. And then through this part of the foot, can we feel a sense of lift, of rising up, a little bit of activation, of energy. As we ground down through the feet, as we rise up through the feet, we can then begin to bring our awareness up through the legs and just start to bring a little bit of activity, a little bit of charge through the legs, a bit of strength. Pausing and checking in with the knees and just checking that we're not pushing the kneecaps back or sort of locking the knees in any way. If it feels like that, you can invite a little bit of a gentle bend in here. And then we can start to bring our awareness to the pelvis, and much like we did with the feet and the lower body, we want to find a place of balance to support our spine. So it can be quite helpful to bring one hand to the lower belly and one hand to the lower back, and just really gently tip the pelvis forward, tip the pelvis back, and then just see if you can find a kind of middle point between those two larger movements. Releasing the arms and the hands when you feel ready. And then just checking in with the belly and the chest. Just checking that kind of no unnecessary tension has creeped into the belly, that we can relax it enough to feel the movement of the breath. And then bringing awareness up towards the shoulders and the upper back and hollow bones. Much like we did when we were seated, just taking a breath in, drawing the shoulders up towards the ears. Then as we breathe out, releasing the shoulders down, just finding space. And then bringing awareness up towards the neck and the head. Feeling into a sense of where your head is resting. Does it feel like you're kind of drawing it too far forward or too far back? Can we find a place that feels really nice and easy and supported? And then relaxing through the features of the face once again, through the temples, through the eyes, through the jaw. Just letting any expression that might be there just gently relax and fade. And then from here, I invite you to bring your hands back into heart center, keeping that looseness through the shoulders, keeping that sense of stability through the whole of the body, and just balancing it with a nice sense of ease. Taking a breath in, beginning to extend the arms up, and then as you breathe out, circling the arms down. Coming to meet back through the midline and just taking a few of these movements. We simply circle the arms, find a bit of movement in the shoulder, and breathing in that nice sense of length through the spine. And then next time that we circle the arms round, I invite you to bend through the knees and begin to come into just a bit of a high squat. Breathing back in to stand back up tall and releasing down to breathe out. And seeing that as we come into our squat, that we can keep our chest nice and open, checking in with the position of the head and the neck, and still really keep that sense of grounding through the feet, both as you gently push up and as you gently release down. And the next time that we come into our squat, an option to pause here for a moment. You might come a bit higher, a little bit lower, seeing if we can relax through the shoulders, ground through the legs. And then just taking in a breath and extending the arms out. Breathing out, returning home to heart center. And just doing this 2 more times with your own breath. Feeling a really nice sense of space expanding out. And that returning back. And then when you're ready, beginning to rise back up tall. Release the arms down. Have a little shake, a little move, a bit of a sigh. Really nice. And then from here we can come to explore a bit of a forward fold. So I'll come to just move to the side. It might be a little bit easier to see. So we can come back to our mountain pose, just taking a little bit of a moment to check in with the feet, with the legs, the pelvis, shoulders, head. Sounds like a different song now. Okay, and then just bringing in the hands into heart center once again, moving from this place of kind of connectedness, the seat of our emotions, of ourselves. Then we're going to take a breath in and begin to bring the arms up, really find a sense of lengthening. Then as we breathe out, can bend through the legs, allow the hips to fold over, spine to release, and then completely round. Taking a breath in, bringing arms out to the side and leading with the chest. Coming all the way back up, hands come back together, sinking back down towards our heart center. And when you feel ready, coming to explore that again, in-breath finds that sense of lengthening. Out-breath folding over, keeping that kind of neutral spine and then allowing the spine to round as you come through halfway. Lovely in-breath leading with the chest, coming all the way up tall. And then breathing out, releasing back. Coming back through that one last time. Maybe seeing that as you fold forward, that you can gently draw the belly in to give even more support to the lower back. Breathing in, leading with the chest, coming all the way up. And then bringing the hands back towards heart center. Pausing here for a moment, seeing that we can again relax and keep that sense of openness through the shoulders. And then we're going to take a breath in, bring the arms up again, but this time we're going to come to a twist towards the right side, so keeping the lower body quite stable and quite rooted, just beginning to open the arms out. In-breath draws us back. Out-breath again, opening out, finding that sense of space. And let's just explore that one more time on each side of the body. Noticing how it feels in the upper body and the spine. And when you come back through center, we can bring the hands together, again sinking them back. And then relax the arms, have a little move, have a little shake. And then we can come towards the back of the mat. So we're going to explore a little bit of warrior one. So coming to stand on the mat and just bring the feet roughly hips distance, but if you feel more comfortable coming a little bit wider or a bit narrower, it really does kind of feel different for everyone. And then we're going to turn the left foot out slightly. We can always come back to this leg in a moment. And then we're going to take a step forward with the opposite leg. And then as you come to step forward, just come back to this leg and just check in with how you feel in the hip, in the knee, in the foot. Do you feel like it's a bit tight and you need a bit more space, or perhaps a bit more stability? You can draw the foot in. So have a little bit of a play around. And then once you feel quite happy and quite stable in this leg, we can just begin to bend into the opposite knee. And just see how that feels. And if you feel like there's any pressure in the knee, then you can kind of either not bend as much or Maybe give yourself a bit more space. So kind of ideally, we don't want to lose sight of our toes when we're bending into that front leg. So just having a little bit of an explore. And then once we feel ready, we can come back to some of the things we explored in our mountain pose. So just grounding down evenly through both of the feet. And that remembering that as we come into this pose, we're really going to rely on the anchoring of this back foot to keep us nice and grounded. And we can bring the arms down by the side of the body, see if we can relax through the shoulders and bring the gaze ahead. And then taking a breath in, bending through that front knee and just starting to sweep the arms up to wherever it feels nice to bring them. And then as we breathe out, lowering the arms down. And just exploring this with your own breath. So as you breathe in, you extend forward. As you breathe out, you release the knee, the arms. Maybe explore or experiment with that slightly longer breath where we take a breath in and breathe down towards the belly. And you take a breath out and draw the belly in, releasing the breath slowly. And then next time that the arms are up overhead or wherever it feels nice to bring them, an opportunity to pause here. If it feels nice for the shoulders, you can actually bring the arms out a bit more or just find whatever feels good for you. Bringing the gaze ahead and just feeling a sense of stability, of kind of courage in our warrior poses. Seeing if we can keep a sense of smooth breath, really to support us here. And next time you breathe out, releasing the hands down, releasing the knee, taking a step or a couple of steps to come back to mountain pose, maybe feeling a little bit uneven. We will restore the balance by coming towards the opposite side. Coming back towards the mat and turning the opposite foot out. If you want to have a little bit of a shake or a bit of a move in between, a bit of a fall over, then doing that. And then just setting yourself up in a similar way, but it might feel really different on this side. So just kind of feeling into everything as if it's the first side again. So turning that foot out, stepping your leg forward, checking and seeing if you need to turn that foot out a little bit more, in a little bit more, bending into that front leg and just checking how that knee feels, if you need a bit more space or you just need to bend a little less. And then once you feel kind of happy and supported, then just checking in with the rest of the body. So relaxing through. Invitation as always to have a bit of a sigh or just release the breath. Maybe take a breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then taking a breath in when you're ready, beginning to allow the arms to just float forward into our warrior one. And then as we breathe out, releasing back. Moving in and out with your own rhythm, your own breath. And just seeing where it feels nice to allow the arms to come to. So there's kind of no right or wrong here. Just exploring, kind of moving with the body, bringing that sense of connection between the upper body, the lower body, the breath. And just seeing if we can balance moving with a sense of ease, but also keep that stability in the body. And then next time that we come to sweep the arms up, an opportunity to stay in our warrior one on this side. Checking how it feels in the arms, if you'd rather give the arms a bit more room, just seeing what feels good for you. allowing the shoulders to relax down, the gaze to be ahead, and grounding down evenly through the feet. Enjoying a sense of openness through the chest and just bringing your awareness to your breath. Noticing where you feel it in the body, if you can encourage or find a sense of smoothness and easiness in the breath. And the next time that you breathe out, we can begin to relax the arms down, straighten that front leg, take a step or a couple of steps back. Have a little bit of a shake, a bit of a move, kind of release any tension, any seriousness coming back. And then we're going to just come to explore a little bit of balance, and then we're going to make it down towards the ground. So the kind of main thing with balance is to just remember that it is a practice. So do not worry if you are wobbling in and out. I will probably be wobbling in and out. So just kind of coming into it with a bit of playfulness, a bit of curiosity. We're going to have a balance that's actually kind of a movement one, so it'll be quite nice to explore, hopefully. So we can come back towards our mountain pose, coming to a sense or a posture of stability, of grounding, checking in with kind of both of the feet, with the legs, pelvis and the shoulders, the head and the face. And then we're going to take a breath in and begin to just allow both of the arms to sweep out in front. And then as we breathe out, we're going to start to lift the right leg, lowering down the arms, just exploring how that feels. And then taking a breath in, we're going to bring the arms out in front, extending the leg behind. I need a little bit more space. And then as we breathe back in, drawing the knee back, and then relaxing down. I'm going to explore that again, just with a little bit more space, so we can come to find that on the other side of the body. And taking a breath in, allowing the arms to float up. As the arms release down, we can draw the knee up. Taking a breath in, extending the leg out long. The foot might just come to the floor, or it might come a little bit higher. And then drawing the knee back in as we breathe out. Relaxing the foot down. And let's just kind of play with that in your own time, with your own breath. In-breath brings that sense of reaching up. And just exploring with lifting this leg up as you breathe out. Breathing in, extending the leg behind the body, the arms in front. Then drawing everything back towards the midline, smiling. Releasing the leg down. Then coming to explore that on the other side of the body. Drawing your knee up. Breathing in, extending the leg behind, nice open chest. Drawing everything back to the center. And then releasing the foot down. Both feet nicely rooted on the ground. Relax the body. Have a little move, have a little shake. And then we're going to come towards the back of the mat. We're going to make our way down towards the ground. So we can come back towards our mountain pose. We can bring back that sense of the hands coming in towards our heart center. Taking a breath in, finding a lovely length through the body, and then as you breathe out, folding forward, knees and legs can bend, and then we're going to start to walk the hands forward. So we can either come into our downward facing dog for a moment, or we might come straight down to all fours. And then we'll take a moment to meet in our child's pose for a moment, any version that feels good for you. And just giving the body an opportunity to find pause, find stillness. And then when we feel ready, we can begin to make our way back onto all fours and then come to transition to come onto the back of the body. And just kind of taking your time to arrive there, and when you do come to lie down, it might feel nice to hug the knees in for a moment when you arrive, or maybe just find any kind of movement that feels good to you, maybe just resting with the feet on the ground. And then if the knees are in towards the chest, I invite you to kind of bring the feet towards the mat and have the legs bent. And a bit like when we were in our seated position or our mountain pose, we just want to check in with our posture, with our spine. So just checking that the shoulders can relax further down, and we also want there to be a bit of space behind the neck, so the chin is about parallel with the ground. Beginning to relax through the hips and see whether maybe it feels nice to bring the feet a bit closer, a bit further away. And we're going to bring the arms down by the side of the body, and next time that you breathe in, just begin to float the arms up and overhead. Again, just to where it feels good. And then as you breathe out, we can begin to release the arms back down, hands come down by the side of the body. And then just come to explore that a couple more times with your own breath. As you breathe in, we're finding that nice sense of length through the spine. Maybe noticing how it feels in the shoulders, in the spine. And then next time that the hands and the arms come down by the side of the body, just coming to rest the hands there to take a moment of pause. And then we're going to explore our bridge pose. And for this posture, I invite you to just draw the chin in a little bit more. So kind of embrace a bit of a double chin, find a bit more sense of length through the back of the neck. And just checking that you can ground evenly through the feet, and if you feel like there's not much support, bringing them a little bit closer, or if it feels a bit tight, then moving them a bit further away. And then we're going to take a breath in, sort of noticing the breath as it comes in through the chest, and then just starting to lift the sort of body as one. And then as we breathe out, we're going to lower the upper back, then the middle back, then the lower back, kind of gently releasing them down. And taking a breath in, breathing into the chest, seeing if we can open or rise through the spine. And then in your own time, releasing the upper, middle, lower. And just exploring this a few more times with your own breath. If this feels too much for the spine, you can maybe explore with just sort of tilting the pelvis one way, the other way, just finding a bit more of that smaller movements. And next time that you release the spine down, that you come to a bit of a stop, then I invite you to draw the knees in towards the chest. And then just taking a breath in, we're going to bring the arms back overhead and the legs up towards the ceiling. Then as we breathe out, bringing the hands back towards the knees, lowering the legs down. And just exploring this a few times. The legs don't need to straighten, but just finding that kind of intention of the feet coming up towards the ceiling. come one more time through this movement. And then next time that the hands are on the knees and the legs are lowered back into the body, it might feel nice to have a little bit of a gentle rock from one side, or make some circles with the knees, or even circle through the wrists or the ankles. And then we're going to bring the feet down towards the mat and see if we can bring them sort of a bit wider than you normally would. So maybe a bit wider than hips distance. And then you can either bring the arms out to the side or rest them on the body. And we're going to come into kind of gentle twist, often known as windscreen wipers. Hopefully when we start exploring it, you'll kind of see why. So inviting your awareness to come back towards your breath. And taking a breath in, staying here in center, and then as you breathe out, we're going to release both of the knees over towards the right side. And then taking a breath in, bringing the knees back towards the center, and as you breathe out, releasing the knees over towards the opposite side, allowing the feet to kind of roll onto the sides. And just moving in this way, and just letting the movements be as big or as small as feels comfortable. Kind of letting this be more of a releasing, sort of easy action. I'm just exploring this one more time on each side of the body. And then when you feel ready and you come back to center, then maybe letting the legs come out long, taking a nice full body stretch if that feels good. And then coming to allow your body to come into any position that feels comfortable to you for our Shavasana, our kind of moment of pause, of rest, of soaking in the practice. So just taking time to have a bit of a shuffle, whether that's bringing the legs out long, you can have the legs bent, or you can be lying on the side of the body, on the front of the body. And as you come to lie down, beginning to notice or bring your awareness to those contact points, those places where your body meets whatever it is resting on, the mat, the ground, your supports. And just seeing if those points of contact can just be a bit of an invitation of ease into the body, of softening, relaxation. And as you notice the body, you might notice just a sense of the breath as it gently kind of rocks. if you feel ready, beginning to bring your awareness back towards your body, towards your breath. Find some small movements, maybe in the hands or the feet. And just moving in a way that feels natural to you. So if it feels nice to kind of stretch the body out or hug the body in, find some rotations. And then whenever you feel good, beginning to transition, maybe rolling onto the side of the body or coming up in any way that feels good to you, and just coming to meet back in a seated position, anywhere that feels kind of comfortable to you. And then just taking a moment to settle back in, to find that ease through the lower body, the ease through the shoulders and the spine. Connect back to the gentle, natural sound of your breath. And then I invite you to once again bring the hands back towards our heart center. And then I just say thank you for sharing this practice with me, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Namaste. Thanks everyone.